pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Chuck File, absent. Elmer. Here. Bob Roth here. Dave Smith here. Judy here. And Dale here. So everybody's here but Chuck File. Approval of minutes. We don't have the minutes at this point, so we'll table that for the next meeting or prior. Presentations, the CIA Development Plan and Tax Increment Financing Plan proposed projects list.
Looking at me.
Look at Mr. Carlisle.
Okay. This is really relevant to two possible scenarios that we're looking at moving forward. Currently, the CIA's term is to end in 2029, with the last revenues collected by 2030. However, there has been discussion at our last meeting and with the supervisor about requesting approval for extension of the CIA moving forward for another at least 10 years or more. Just so you all know, especially for, that's a lengthy process, and we are embarking upon that because the first thing that we have to do if we're going to do that is we have to identify what we're going to do with the tax increment money, if we do. So it is a process that involves amending the plan, the CIA plan, and then opening it up to obviously public scrutiny and giving the other taxing jurisdictions that are subject to capture the ability to opt out, okay? And by policy, what happens, one of the main entities that we want to make sure that stay in is Oakland County, because the amount of revenue that we derive from Oakland County is roughly equal to what we derive from our own sources of township capture. So it makes a difference if they're in.
Yeah, sure.
If they're not in, it really doesn't make much sense. You're only capturing mostly of your own money. Now, what has happened more recently is the county has amended their criteria. And I have not studied that in detail, but it means that we have to justify the plan extension in line with their criteria. This just happened, by the way. So the idea is that you start this process early. You don't wait till it expires.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just got a text saying that you need to speak at the podium if you want to be heard on the recording. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So what that means is that, there we go. So I can see Dale down there. Maybe he doesn't want to see me. I don't know. What that means is that we want to start this process, as early as we can. I mean, I don't think we won't be prepared probably towards the latter part of this year to be able to do it, but we want to start those discussions, and we always start them at the staff level first, and then it keeps bumping up to the higher level administration, and then we have to go through all these committees at the Board of Commissioners, and then ultimately to the full Board of Commissioners for approval of the TIF. We also have the ability to decide, even up until that point of extension, what you will be doing with, if you choose to, the excess TIF revenues that you are going to be collecting between now and 2029. As I mentioned to you at your last meeting, we currently project that, and Elmer, by the way, right now we are obligated, we're paying off the proceeds of a bond proposal that did, among other things, did the widening of North Sashabaw, in front of Pine Knob, for example. But with the bonds, I believe being paid off I believe it's 2027. Anyway, we're projecting that there's going to be at a minimum excess revenues of TIF revenues of 1.1 million. Okay. So regardless of what happens with the extension, you are going to need to decide how to spend that money or not spend it. But if you don't spend it at the termination of the CIA, if that's what happens, you have to return that money proportionally back to the taxing jurisdictions that you captured it from. Okay? So just lay that basic groundwork. So some of the things we talk about are would not only inform perhaps what we would do with the money should it be extended, but also maybe more near-term expenditure of money for things that you might want to try to accomplish before it expires, okay? So I'm framing that in that particular regard. So what I went back and sort of laid out some projects, some of which were in the original plan, but described a little bit differently, some of which are not. And it's sort of some suggestions to you to start thinking about. And I'll if you'd like, you want me to just sort of summarize these, Bob?
That would be great.
Okay. So one of the things, and this is actually, the supervisor has expressed, an interest in this, is to really add to and beautify, the corridor even more so with additional landscaping. One of the things that we've talked about is actually extending some of the streetscaping that we did on the boulevard down Walden Road here. Now that this construction has been completed. Another idea that we just spoke about today as a matter of fact, he brought up is that, it would be really great if we could work with MDOT and do some beautification of the actual interchange. It looks pretty bad. As a major entry into the Sashabaw corridor, it looks, if you drive he was pointing out, if you drive through a lot of other areas, you go through many areas where they've beautified the interchange areas, and it really makes a community look a lot better when you're entering it. So landscaping, enhancing perhaps even what we've done so far, and extending it down Walden Road, and perhaps doing some work in the interchange area would all be a potential project. The next one is, I know that it is probably a popular sentiment to try to put money away for future bridge widening. I will say that there's nothing on the MDOT books at this point in time to do anything. So it would be, it'd be purely speculative that they ever would do anything. I threw a number in there of 29 million. I'm probably way low for any work that would be done there. That was the original estimates that we had in 2005. I think were about 27 million, weren't they, Bob?
Yeah.
And we found that, that the MDOT wasn't going to spend the money there, and that's why we ended up doing the improvements that we did do and spent, a couple $1 million doing what we did do. So you may choose to keep this in there, or you may find that it's too much of a, perhaps too much of a, the other thing that we talked about, I talked about with the supervisor, is actually putting some identification signage, Independence or Sashabaw corridor, identification sign in the entryway
Right.
into the corridor also. And with some of the public works construction, the new fire station and some other things up at the Clarkson Road is actually maybe beautifying that intersection too. That would all be part of this landscape budget. Bridge widening. Okay, the next page. One of the things that was in the original plan is improving water service in the corridor. And one of the things that has been out, the Pine Knob well has been offline for a number of years now. And speaking with Dave McKee, he would like to get that water back online. That would improve water service directly in the Sashabaw corridor. So that would be another, that's probably a little bit more of a long-term project, but that would be one of the projects.
That's what this DTE Energy Well Site installation is?
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was.
I'm sorry, I put
That's it.
DTE on the, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well.
near the DTE property,
Right.
so,
So would
But it's
that,
not DTE anymore.
so
Yeah, it
that's
is
for,
DTE.
that would increase the water all the way down Sashabaw Road?
It
or
would, it would add to supply, yes.
Supply.
Yeah, it would enhance supply throughout that district of Sashabaw Court. Maybe, I'm not sure if it comes as far south of I-75. I think that might be served by other lines, but I can get more information on that. There might be some selective safety path improvements that we decide to contribute to.
Dick,
Yes.
on the water, does that mean there's currently a shortage, or what does that mean?
Well, not necessarily a shortage, but it's all a matter of trying to improve reliability of supply. And as the township, as you have new development, that always, taxes, puts a burden on your water supply. And so I believe Mr. McKee's belief is that we need to get that well in particular back online. But it does need some major improvements because there has to be some water quality enhancements associated with it. That was one of the reasons why it was shut down. So that, yeah. Yeah. But there are Judy, just to answer your question, the township has been doing, they do constant improvements to the water system to improve quality, reliability of supply, and pressure. Those are the three components of a water system that you have to continue, and as the township grows, it always puts more demand on your water system.
Did you say that water would be for north of 75?
Yeah,
So just from there to Clarkson?
I think that's where that district mostly is, but I don't know that for sure, Dale, so I definitely would, I would,
I mean, that's a lot of money for a handful of,
yeah.
and there's not much goes out through there.
Yeah,
Even
I'll
when
find
it's-
out what the whole
yeah.
area is that serves, that's a good point. Safety path, one of the projects that was discussed, and I don't know if it was ever discussed with the CIA, but definitely discussed at the township board level, was putting a pedestrian, or adding a pedestrian bridge on Walden Road where that current bridge goes across I-75. Currently, there's no way for those people using the safety pass system to connect up with this area. And the township, and frankly, this would really be dependent probably on getting, grant funding also in this particular regard. But it would really do a lot of enhancement to the safety pass system if we could have a pedestrian bridge over 75 along Walden Road, at least for that segment of the township that is west of that bridge, even north and south of Walden Road, all the way down to Clintonville Road, which would give people access to the Sashabaw corridor. So, that project didn't advance because they didn't get the grant.
Well, it would take a safety path as well, right? Because there's no place to walk.
Yeah, there would have
Between
to
the
be an
bridge and
extension of safety
Sashabaw.
path too, that's correct, yeah.
On the DTE where the Pine Knob water, is that supposed to be 5 million and then 400,000? That doesn't add up
Oh.
either. But was that supposed to be 5 million for the engineering and administration?
That
Or is
was,
that supposed to be
that was supposed to be a big,
4
that was a
million?
big, yeah, it was supposed to be 500,000 and 4 million.
Oh, okay, all right.
This is what happens when I do my own, word processing, Bob.
That's all right, I just wanted to clarify. Okay.
Not a strong point. Okay, the pedestrian bridge. And then I threw in an item for land acquisition and assembly, just because. It's always an opportunity that if if there's some strategic land purchases that you can make, you are allowed to do it as a corridor improvement authority, and we can use it to enhance economic development. You're empowered to do that. So I've included that. If you look at the table 1, projected revenue, over a 10-year total, this would, I did, let me see, 2 scenarios, I believe. No, I just did the 1 scenario. This is full millage, full millage, full millage. I did 2 scenarios. With the full millage applied, or with the minus the transit and parks millages that the county does. You're looking at over a 10-year period of between 13 and 14 or $15 million in potential revenue. And that really doesn't take into account any developmental values. This was
New
just,
growth, yeah.
This was kind of a straight line projection of 3%. So, there's still there is surprisingly a lot of property in the Sashabaw corridor that's still to develop. And so these projections would only change quite a bit with any kind of developmental value built into it. So those are just, those are some of the thoughts. And really, this has got to be, like we did the first plan, this has got to, this is your plan. And,
Right.
and this is something that you have to put your stamp on to be able to get behind it, frankly, so.
Well, thank you. Well, I definitely, we certainly would like to hope that we could come up with some projects so that we wouldn't turn back any money.
Yeah.
And secondly, if we can extend it, I don't see any reason not to, if we can come up with the appropriate projects that we could do. The landscaping one, when you go over to Baldwin Road, it's our sister community, and look what they've done with that corridor down through there, and it's impressive.
Yeah.
So I think there are some things that we could do to make our corridor better than it is right now, for sure. It should be a number 1 priority, I think.
Mm-hmm. Bob, how do you feel about the bridge?
I just think it's is it even a possibility? We can wish for it, I guess, but if MDOT doesn't have it on their plans,
Yeah.
is there a chance that they would do that? Or if you could get it onto their plans, but it's obviously it's a big number.
Yeah. Well,
Which bridge?
Sashabaw Bridge.
Going over?
Yeah.
Yeah, the main one, yeah. Sashabaw Bridge over 75, yeah.
I think we all know that it would be great if it was.
But the other part about it is it's probably would be a complete interchange rebuild.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
It's not great for businesses either when
No.
that's all going on, that's a big
wouldn't
project.
be wouldn't be good for the music theater, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
that's right.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be good for anybody else from traffic.
No. So, yeah, I think that's, don't see it happening really, but.
Well, maybe we should do a little more investigation to see if there's anything in their plans. I haven't been able to find anything, but I may not be at this point asking the right people, but if it's no possibility of it being done in that period of time, we could put a more general line item in there of, contribution to transportation improvements that would give us some flexibility so that if there's any other road widening that is considered, there has been some talk about doing certain additional things on Sashabaw Road from time to time by the road commission. At least we'd have some money in there for transportation, for traffic improvements.
Yeah. We all think that it, at least I do, it would be nice that if it was 2 lanes going both ways, but is it really a problem at this point? I don't, that, you know, as far as traffic backing up and things, because you can't go through the bridge, I mean, I don't see it, I mean,
Yeah,
traffic's,
I don't either. Drive it every day.
traffic's heavy, but I think it all moves along pretty well, you know.
Didn't Pat Kittle say 3 or 4 or 5 years ago that it was in the radar for MDOT?
It was?
I thought that
Mm.
him or somebody, I thought at one of the meetings said that it's out there, but
Mm.
I don't remember.
Well, I think we could find out, you know,
Okay.
if there's anything, if you could do that, or talk to Mr. File, I guess, and see if, which would be the way to at least address that and see if there is anything, and then we could go from there.
Yeah, okay.
Plus, we need some evidence, like how much of a backup is there, what's growth expected to be,
Right,
stuff like that.
right. Right. Yeah, okay. Okay. Other thoughts?
Anything major gonna be happening on that, north side of 75 there? Anything coming or going?
There, you know, definitely always inquiries that I'm aware of on your side of Sashabaw. You know, the Monarch did get approved to build some additional, attached housing to the rear of their project, and I think they're proceeding with that. There has been a proposal on the immediate corner, but I don't think it's gonna move forward. There has been a lot of discussion about the property behind the gas station off Flemings Lake Road, all of that property back there. No plans have been submitted, so, you know, it's usually that kind of stuff. You know, there's always the looming prospect that eventually McLaren's gonna do something with their property, which is a huge amount of, you know, still about 60 acres of a medical campus, which would be huge if that happened. And it may require that the CIA, you know, be prepared to contribute to some additional infrastructure improvements if that's the case. So we might want to build something in there in anticipation of that. You know, generally, not that, you know, we have generally had a policy in this township that, you know, development definitely pays their own way, but we've also done some proactive improvements where we felt it was warranted. So, and that's what we have a CIA for that matter. So, yeah, we ought to maybe be thinking about that, and I'll talk a little bit further with McKee about what would happen with our sewer and water, for example. Should we have a major project on the McLaren property, might want to put some numbers to, you know, in the plan for that, for sure.
I mean, it seems like that would all have been covered when all the planning was done, when all the sewers went down, you know, from Wall, I mean, it seems like that would be built into it, that it would be big enough to handle.
It was at the time, and I'm trying to, you know what, it's been so long since they were originally approved
Yeah,
that
it's
I don't
been a while.
remember what all the obligations were to improve some of the utilities there. But that was contingent upon a hospital coming into the township, which I don't believe that's going to happen. Not unless a miracle happens in Lansing and a certificate of need gets issued, and I don't think that's gonna happen.
Right.
So consequently, the project, whatever they propose on there, if they do, is gonna be different. So it'll have a different impact on the utilities. So yeah, at that time, we did have studies done about the necessity to improve sewer and water, should there be a hospital, but that is no longer the case.
You know, you think about all the stuff that can definitely happen all the way up through here, and I
Sure.
think this board is pretty darn important that we keep it going
Yeah.
to at least,
Well, you look at the entire,
You know.
the Wellbridge property,
right,
it's undeveloped.
Right.
You know, something's gonna happen with the Rite Aid, don't know what,
no,
You've, the, you know,
Well, I
On
appreciate
Dave's
the
side of
gas. I
Sashabaw?
appreciate the gas coming through. That was huge. I was on propane.
No more propane.
I was on propane.
I know. So, you know, I mean, that property is, you know,
Amazing.
largely developable
Right.
property, you know, with the exception of the Monarch, you know, all those pieces there are all development pieces. So, and then on the south side, you have all the McLaren property, and then you still have several, your piece.
Right.
You have,
Lots.
the 8 acres that American House was going to go on at
Right.
Bow Point. You have one more parcel on the south side of Bow Point on this side. So there's still a fair amount, you
Right.
know.
It's a purpose.
No doubt.
So probably putting something in here at least regarding utility support is probably not a bad idea,
Mhm.
I would think. And putting a more generalized description of transportation money for transportation. I'm trying, we were talking today, do you know, Dale, you probably know better than anybody, do you know, is the pedestrian signal on Sashabaw working now or not?
I see it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it works.
So
Yeah.
they did replace that, didn't they?
It seems like I just saw it the other day, blinking.
Okay. Are people actually stopping now?
I don't know.
I mean, I was busy just looking at it, I just drove through. It's like, wow, it's working. No, I think they do.
Yeah,
Just not that many people walk across it, you know?
Yeah.
But
Do we need to get some more information from Dave McGee regarding that
yeah,
well site
I will, I think
installation?
this is just, I would consider this to be a
Yeah.
preliminary
Right.
discussion. I would invite you all to think about this and, you know, provide ideas further as you have a chance to think about it, because, you know, we're gonna work on this, I'm gonna refine this. I wanna, if you have any additional thoughts, I wanna incorporate them. Any big plans we need to know about at Pine Knob that we need to think about?
Just the infamous marquee,
Yeah,
but no, not right now. I mean, we're always looking to make parking a little smoother, you
Yeah.
know, and then stuff like that. And other than the Clarkson Road, you know, artery that we work with Oakland County Sheriff on. But, no, but this is great to talk to,
Okay.
for sure.
great.
what's your overall thought on the bridge? Does that cause major problems for,
Well, it's nice to get people in smoothly, whether it's ride share, you know, the Ubers and Lyfts and things like that. And if people park down by like the Culvers and kind of walk down, that they used to not exist for years, but then that walking path has been helpful. So if you did connect, it would be great, but the construction, to your point,
Yeah,
would be,
and the
you know,
murderers.
when do you do it?
Yeah.
You know,
it's-
because
It's a big job.
yeah, like all the roundabout and those types of pieces have been great when they're done.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, and like the two-way, the construction, what is it, 4 or 5 years ago on Sashabaw, got through it.
Yeah,
But, you know,
right.
anytime there's construction, that's just, you know, you gotta put your head down and get through it.
Yeah,
But appreciate what it could be,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. I think, let's consider this to be a work in progress, okay?
Okay.
I will be coming back with you with more information about some of the infrastructure issues. I want you to be where I had Jennifer attach, you know, the current financials for the CIA. At the end of February of this year, your current fund balance is 500,000. But when the bonds are, as the bonds are getting paid off, you're gonna continue, you know, you're continuing to collect, let me see, you're continuing to collect, I believe, over 500,000. Wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, your tax capture is, you know, probably close to around, I think it's around 600,000 and going up. One of the things that has not fully kicked in yet is everything that's gone on across the street, because they're still building.
Right,
So that's still substantially increasing, because that's all new capture.
right.
All new capture, every house, the commercial part hasn't started yet, but it's been approved, the additional commercial, excuse me. So that, all of that is just all new tax capture, and even some of the stuff that's been built and completed and might be occupied hasn't fully hit all the tax rolls yet. So you're gonna see a substantial jump just from that project alone in the next couple of years, so. That's why when I say at the end, you're gonna have if you were to spend another dime, at least 1.1 million in fund balance, probably more.
Right,
Because I'm not including any other type of development that would occur during that period of
right.
time.
And the original expires 29.
29.
Right, so it's 26, so I mean, theoretically, we should at least try to come up with a project by this year, for
Yeah.
next year to finish.
I agree, yeah. I agree.
Okay,
Okay?
all right. The reports and resolutions and financial matters, I mean, it's.
I just gave
you
that,
gave
yeah,
us that.
yeah.
The public comment, nobody here. Anybody else have anything else you'd like to discuss?
Okay.
Okay.
So we will try to keep on a more regular schedule.
Yeah,
At least quarterly, okay? And this year, and I'll have, by that, it gives me plenty of time to produce more information for you too.
Okay,
So, okay?
so we're planning on having a meeting in the second quarter then?
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
all right. Okay. Judy?
Dick, has anything happened to the plan for the park in the front of this building?
Not that I know of, no.
Is it still something that could happen? or-
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually think that it could be something that the CIA could be actively helpful with. You probably have not seen the plan, have you?
No.
Okay, I'll provide copies of that to the CIA, to you as a board.
Okay.
It would be actually, and it would actually still also allow for expansion of the township hall. I think part of the reason has been is that the township has been, trying to consider what to do, with their own needs and deciding how to use the property. But I don't think there's a strong belief of actually building anything more than perhaps an addition onto this end of the building, which would still leave plenty of property to put in a nice little pocket park. That would be, you want to talk about beautification, that would be great. It's underutilized, obviously.
Right. Is the police still looking for another building too?
Yes,
Yes?
yeah, yeah. That's all kind of gotten goofed up too, and with the whole sheriff's contract issue and all that stuff. But they are going to need a facility, and I think it's a matter of, I don't know, that's a matter for Chuck to talk about,
Yeah.
really, about how those services are gonna be met. It's gonna be one way or the other. It's gonna be
Right.
by the sheriff's department or by somebody else,
No.
or something else.
No.
You still have to have a building.
Yeah, right, right.
You do know, by the way, too, that, the fire station is gonna be expanding up on the corner of Clarkston and Sashabaw. That project's been approved.
Well,
It's for a fairly substantial expansion of the fire
to
station.
be able to house more trucks or?
I think that there's gonna be additional equipment, obviously, additional facilities for personnel.
No.
But the station's very old.
Yeah, right,
It
right.
doesn't meet any standards whatsoever,
Yeah.
and there's no space in there for the fire personnel at all,
Yeah.
hardly.
It doesn't look like the property's that big.
I agree, but it's actually I've seen the plans, and it's, they're moving forward. I think they've got a pretty good plan that'll allow for expansion. We'll make sure that you see those plans, okay?
Okay.
Did they secure property north and west, or?
I had heard that they were pursuing that, Dale. I'm not sure if they have, okay? So, okay,
I hadn't heard about it.
yeah.
All right, if nothing else, call a meeting or have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second? I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Crowell.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Elmer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.